My name is Andrew Bauer from the Natural Resource Governance Institute. I'm pleased to be joined by Eaimt Aung from the British Embassy in Myanmar. Phoo, thanks for joining us. I have a few questions for you, starting with there's a really exciting transition happening in Myanmar right now. There's a new government. It's the first civilian government in over 50 years. What are the huge changes, or are there changes going on right now, and can this government possibly meet the expectations of a very excited population?
Well, Andrew, thank you for giving a chance to me talk about as a Myanmar citizen firstly. So I will say back to the honeymoon period we are in now, so with much of hopes to look forward to see what are the changes we'll be bringing back for the countries and for the citizens. Well, but that doesn't mean that we should not understate the challenges that the current government will face, because Myanmar government has been historically in the military regime, so that kind of these hierarchical structures has been in the state capacity. So these state capacities are also much in the state implementation level, so that we should be thinking about how the current government will be solving the priorities issue and will take reforms, what should be delivered, what should be prioritized within their capacity.
Turning to the natural resource sector, we know that there are huge challenges. We know that there are billions of dollars potentially in so-called other accounts. We know that there are huge demands for decentralization of powers and decentralization of revenues to some of the states and regions. And we know that just simply accounting for natural resource revenues in Myanmar is a big challenge. Can you talk a little bit about what you think the biggest challenges are, and how might Myanmar address some of those?
Yes, you mentioned about decentralization. So because I will point on the decentralization is the challenge will be a kind of the existing conflicts, current conflicts that is out of the control of the state area. What I mean is there are some areas that has been in conflict with the state military and also some ethnic armed groups. So that having together kind of data, kind of to have their negotiation between these parties will be quite one big challenge for the current government. And the second point is about the macroeconomic management through decades. So how do we resolve such issue in such a short period of time will be the second challenge. Back to my first point about the capacity within the state administrative capacity will be the second challenge for the current government. And the third challenge I would say is about the mandate of the current government in the existing political economy, where the economy and the political economy has been merged with the state-owned enterprise that has been linked with the previous military regime, and also you have groups of elites that have been undermined and see from the public that these are bad guys. Then how would you have a kind of public opinions, how to make the public please and public meet their expectation to the current government would be huge challenges for the current government that I say.
So how can the government address this problem? I mean, when you have political elites or former military, current military, what they call the cronies in Myanmar, controlling so much of the sector, and specifically jade, right?
Yes.
Jade is a multi-billion dollar industry. You take a small percentage of the revenues generated from that, and you can double, triple the education budget. So how can the government address that issue? What can they, how do you take on those interests?
Yeah, when we talk about the natural resource issues, these are kind of common pool resource, right? So of course the authorities they might have the custodial right to manage these resource management on behalf of the civil society for the people. But what we could do as a current government is about that's never existed before, or that's never practiced before in Myanmar, is having an approach that is more transparent, more accountable, and also more inclusive, including all the civil society and community that could participate, at least express their opinions.
Right.
I think that the approach will be quite important, and also having a coordination between multi-stakeholders is also quite important, because when we look back to the practices of Myanmar, coordination between government, within the government, coordination with government and civil society, coordination between government and business and society is really limited. So I think multi-stakeholders engagement among these natural resource industry is also quite important. And also I think the continuation of technical and export assistance from the international community would be recommending, because we need capacity. Then how this capacity would come from, like of course from the international community.
Right. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, and hopefully we'll be working for a long time in Myanmar together.
I very look forward to working with you too. Thank you.
Great, thank you.